Welcome back to the Talk Healing to Me podcast. This week's solo episode is all about Sarah Griffiths, my dear friend and my colleague. She's known online as Wheelie Mama, and honestly, I haven't stopped thinking about it since, and we've been speaking about it a lot within and with our clients as well. Sarah is a mom of soon to be 4 kids. She's a speaker, an author, a wheelchair user, and a woman who redefined what success looks like after years of fighting her own body. So she's also our executive assistant here at MS to Success and has a front row seat to what healing really looks like behind the scenes and in her own real life. What started as a conversation about disability and healing quickly turned into a soul-stirring masterclass on acceptance, choice, and owning your own story, wheelchair and all. So if you've ever felt like your body is betraying you, if you've been pushing through pain just to keep up appearances, or if you're simply wondering what healing could look like your way, this episode is your permission slip to let it look different and let it be enough. So here's my top 10 takeaways from our conversation. This podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always consult your doctor. Views shared are personal and not a substitute for professional guidance. The first one was healing begins with acceptance, not resistance. So Sarah's life didn't change when she pushed harder. It changed when she paused and said, what if I stop fighting my body and start listening to it? That's really when true healing began for her. And acceptance isn't about giving up. It's letting go of the war inside you so you can finally rest and rebuild. One of the big things in our program at the very beginning is accepting exactly what is and exactly what isn't right now. So if you think about if you're going on a journey and you're using Google Maps and you're looking at where it is you want to go, you know, you've actually got to be settled with where you're at now so that you can move from that position. But if you're constantly fighting, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be there, it's very hard to move forward. So I think Sarah demonstrated that absolutely beautifully. Second point, you deserve a good life right now. I have to tell you, this one hit hard. She said, nobody is born to suffer. Sarah reminded us that joy and love and ease and purpose aren't things you earn once you're better. They're your birthright. You're allowed to feel good, even in an imperfect body. Sarah's words, not mine. You're allowed to laugh, to rest, to say no, and still be worthy. I loved that. One of the questions that we spoke about afterwards was, am I postponing joy, waiting to feel fixed before I let myself do that? So maybe just ponder that one for yourself. Whether it's weight loss or whether it's MS or foot trap or whether it's cerebral palsy, whatever it might be. Are you postponing joy, waiting to feel fixed first? Please don't. The third one was mobility aids are tools, not tragedies. So Sarah didn't end up in a wheelchair. She chose to use a tool that helped her thrive. And her chair gave her energy, freedom, and access to life. The problem isn't the chair, it's the shame, fear, and cultural story we attach to it. And I have to tell you, and I felt a little bit embarrassed. Honestly, I felt a little bit uncomfortable saying it to Sarah. And I've spoken about this a lot in different talks and things over the years because one of the biggest fears I had when I had the diagnosis of MS, my biggest fear was, am I going to end up in a wheelchair? And Sarah, like, gave me a beautiful sentence was, Karen, that was the thing that actually had me live the best life that I can. And so it taught me. I think it was a bit of ignorance on my part, but also I'm going to allow myself to feel those things as well. But it certainly gave me a whole other perspective. And we've had conversations actually within our private programs about this. One of our clients, her name begins with S, and she went on a holiday to Spain. I think I might have mentioned her on one of the wins over the past few weeks. She went on a holiday to Spain with 5 of her friends, and they said, "Oh, come on, we'll get you a scooter." And her initial thought was, I'm not getting a scooter. That's embarrassing. And then they did. And I'm not promoting this, but they ended up like holding shots in the little basket part of the trolley or a basket of the scooter. And she said it was one of the best things. She goes, because I was able to preserve my energy to actually have fun and use the tools that are there. So it, honestly, I feel like this conversation with Sarah gave me a really beautiful and gentle schooling on those tools as aids, not as something to avoid that might actually give someone more life. The fourth point was pain is communication, not punishment. So Sarah once lived in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week pain. And what changed? It wasn't a magic pill, but curiosity. She started asking, what is my pain trying to say? And that shifted everything. So pain became a teacher, not a jailer. And I thought that was beautiful. And we have a lot of people that get rid of their pain Completely. One of our clients, Zoe, I think she's only in the program a few weeks at this point, and her pain is gone. And she used to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to try and relieve that pain before her kids got up, with doing like fairly stringent exercises. And now she can sleep more. She doesn't have pain and she can walk without her feet hurting or pain in the rest of her body. Like, so that listening in. But I think there's something in the safety of your nervous system being able to relax, knowing that you have a plan, knowing that you're psychologically safe so that your physicality and your central nervous system can then start to be at ease and not be operating in that fight or flight stage. But Sarah did that by herself, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal. The fifth point is success looks different for everyone. So for Sarah, success isn't walking, it's choice. So some days she walks, some days she wheels. The real win, having the option. And that comes from honoring her body with food and movement and rest and not pushing through it. I'd love to ask you, what would success look like for you on your terms? Maybe it's accepting exactly where you are right now, perhaps. This episode of Talk Healing to Me is sponsored by Clean Boss, created by Joy Mangano, the legendary inventor behind the Miracle Mop and a pioneer in clean innovation. Clean Boss is a botanical disinfectant that kills 99.9% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. It's safe for food surfaces, soft surfaces, and baby high chairs with no toxic ingredients and no rinse required. It's also a degreaser, odor eliminator, and all-purpose cleaner that works as hard as the chemical heavy stuff without the health risks. Check it out at getcleanboss.com/Karen for a clean, better, and living safer life. Number 6 was asking for help is powerful, not weak. So, pregnant with her fourth child, Sarah's learned to say not today. She delegates, she rests, she lets herself be helped. And the world hasn't stopped turning. In fact, it's gotten softer. Real strength includes support. I love that. One of the things we do on our Friday wind up call is we do a list of like a brain download. So you download everything that you wished you had it done or you'd like to do or things that you have coming up. And then in the next column, we put down who could you delegate that to or who could you ask for support with that. Another one of our clients had something that she needed to move. It was like an exercise bike and it was sitting outside for years and she wanted to move it in and she kept saying, I must do it, I must do it. And we asked the question, why don't you ask somebody else to do it? And she did. And now it's inside. So I know it's only teeny tiny little things, but those things that are in the back of your mind that you're not getting done, perhaps ask somebody else for support with it. You don't have to do it by yourself. The seventh point is healing is not linear, and that's okay. From self medicating and depression to an MBE that Sarah received, her path wasn't linear, but it was hers. So your healing doesn't have to be tidy. In fact, it can be really messy. Healing isn't, floating through a meadow and in white linen and long curly hair. It can be messy and tears and snots and all of that. Healing isn't comfortable. And it's certainly not perfect, but it just has to be yours and in an alignment with you. The eighth point was advocacy creates ripple effects. So when Sarah asked a local tour to accommodate her wheelchair, they adjusted everything and happily did so. So she wasn't a burden. She was a pioneer. Your voice isn't too much. It's a map for someone else's ease. So if there's a food you're avoiding, or if you're finding it, that you want to go somewhere, but you want the car park to be near it so that you don't have to worry about energy or movement getting in and out of a restaurant, ask your friends or ask the restaurant, whoever it might be, or ring ahead and ask the question. You don't have to feel like it's too much. Ask the question. You never know if you are then showing up for somebody else that gives them permission to show up and have their needs be met as well. You never know who's listening. One of the conversations we had within our client group last night was with Livy Redden. She was on a past episode, and Livy's dad had ALS. But we had a conversation with our clients who have kids and then some don't about having open and honest conversations and how do you have those and how might it affect the people around you. And one of Livy's things that she said was she figured or she was able to look back and reflect and she thought love for her mom was Livy not asking for her needs to be met. So like this kind of selfless, I must be selfless and not ask anyone for help. And that's the form of love. So I'm not bothering anyone. And she now recognized that actually that doesn't serve anyone. And the conversation that we had, because a lot of our clients have kids, I was like, actually, you're not doing good for anyone if you're not asking for your needs to be met, because then somebody else then learns that they don't have that emotional safety to ask for their needs to be met. So please do that. You never, never know who is listening. And then it gives them that trust and confidence to ask for that to happen for them too. The ninth one was representation starts at home. So Sarah's book, My Mum is a Superhero, sparked beautiful conversations about disability for families who had never had them. So kids learn by watching us. Inclusion starts on the couch, not just in the classroom. And the 10th and final point was being you is more than enough. Sarah didn't get recognized for pretending. She was honored because she lived her truth fully. So you don't need to be more polished, just more you. I thoroughly loved this conversation with Sarah, and I'm so lucky and privileged that I get to have this conversation most days with her because we work together and we get to not only support our clients, but Sarah gets to live her experience and in sharing that and keeping our ship on course as well. If you're here and you want to wish Sarah good luck for the birth of her fourth child, please feel free to email us at podcast@talkhealingtome.com. We have two of the winners already for giving away her books. We have three left. If you want to send in an email and get your copy of My Mum is a Superhero, please do that. The next step is your healing your way. And really, if Sarah's story lit you up, this is your sign. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Our Seated Mastery program is now open again this year for registration. Whether your goal is strength or confidence or independence or simply feeling like yourself again, this program meets you exactly where you are, and it's with expert guidance, with personalized tools and a community that sees your full potential. If you would like to register your interest for that program, places are strictly limited. Our neuro-connected movement therapist will be meeting individually with everyone as well, so we only have a very limited number of places for this year left. So email us at info@ms2success.com. That's info@mstosuccess.com to register your interest. Spots are limited and we'd love to support you in reaching your movement, health and well-being goals. Let's build your next 6 months of progress together. That's it for today's episode. I look forward to seeing you next week when we have a very special movement guest with us. For now, enjoy the rest of your day, your week, wherever you're listening in the world. Thank you to our sponsors of this episode. You can visit getcleanboss.com/Karen. And also a thank you to our video and podcast producer and editor, Aoife McNamara at Imagine Media. Thank you.